Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis, me once again. Welcome back to another video game review. This time is going to be on The Outer Worlds 2. Just like in the first game, you play as a commander and run your own squad as you explore multiple different open worlds known as the Outer Worlds, of course, where you can build your character. You have multiple dialogue choices when you go up against certain NPCs, and you have to try and save the world. Of course, throughout the world, you are going to be manipulating some people, trying to either, get them on your good side or your bad side. You can make good choices or bad choices. If you played Fallout, then you know exactly what to expect with Outer Worlds, because it's by Obsidian, back when they were helping out Bethesda with the Fallout games before they split up. But hey, now that Obsidian is doing their own franchise now, it's safe to say they can do whatever they want. I was really looking forward to this game because I really enjoyed the first Outer Worlds game, though not many people saw my review of it, so I doubt many people are going to see my review for this one as well. But I don't really care. I still want to talk about it regardless. But here's the thing about this game. I know for a fact that, I would not want to pay $80 for this game because that was its original price until a lot of backlash came along, but it's mainly because Mario Kart World cost $80. So they're starting to think that's going to start becoming the new thing, but they reduced it to $70. And I still think it's costing a little too much when it comes to $70. But if you still have Game Pass and you can play it on Game Pass, which I know, despite the fact that the price has increased, here's the thing, okay? It would still be cheaper for me to play the game on Game Pass if I played it throughout the entire month. Because with this game and Ninja Gaiden 4, which I did play, I did review recently on my channel if you want to check that out, it would still have cost me less. Playing both of those games with one price, like the only time it wouldn't be worth it is if I stopped using Game Pass, but I was still getting charged for it, so I didn't care. I played the game from Game Pass, and yeah, I finished the main story, and that's all I really cared about because, yeah, it's been a busy year for games. I've been having to rush through so many games because there's still so many movies that I need to see, and it's just gotten insane for me, especially when it comes to games, because I take much longer when it comes with games, and with Outer Worlds 2, I just wanted to at least make it through the main story. I didn't do all the side quests or the companion quests. I would have liked to have done them, but the holiday season's coming around, and it's the busiest time of the year. Maybe not at home, but, well, when I did have the free time, which I did, then, yeah. And I can say, I enjoyed most of the time that I spent with this game. Are there problems? Oh, yes, there are problems, but not really enough problems for the game to just, make me completely, lose my enjoyment out of it, as there's a lot to this game that I think manages to work even somehow a little bit better than the first game, in my opinion. For one, even though the storyline is mostly the same, it does manage to get slightly better this time around, except for when it gets to the beginning. It's definitely a drag during the first 2 hours, as you don't really have that many good weapons, and it's mostly just, talking with NPCs and whatnot and trying to explore the world, knowing exactly, what's going on. I get it. It's trying to build the world, and that's respectable enough. And hey, after those first 2 hours, you can do whatever you want. You can explore anything you want. You can go to, one area to another area. Though I do feel like some worlds do feel a little bit too linear from time to time, but not enough where it just completely breaks the immersion, as it's still a gorgeous looking game. And it has the option of 60 FPS. I'm not sure if they add a patch in the PS5 version of the original game for 60 FPS, but all that I know is that 60 FPS is present, and for the most part, it runs pretty well. There are bugs, but with a game like this, you definitely expect that, but there's a lot of positives. I feel like the character building this time around is just as good, though you are going to have to do a lot of quests and get a lot of experience because, of course, you're going to get locked out of certain things if you don't have the right amount of skill points or builds, but it's always fun when it comes to the character building and the amount of perks that you can get with because they can be very good. Like, For example, when I'm about to lose health, there's this one perk that gives me like a temporary 50% boost, and a bunch of others too. Like, if you want to go completely psychotic, you can do that. It's just, I don't really feel like throughout the game there isn't much of a right or wrong answer. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are things that you can do wrong to get you locked out of certain quests. But for this game, I feel like the game manages to have just enough interesting things going on, even when it comes to the NPCs. While when it comes to the companions, I don't really feel like they're particularly memorable. However, I do think when it comes to their own quests, I had quite a bit of fun doing them. I definitely feel like that's probably the biggest strength when it comes to the allies that you get. It is possible that you can piss them off sometimes and they'll just not want to join you throughout your quest. But yeah, there are even times where they can just die completely. I'm not sure if it's for other difficulties because sometimes you can just revive them, but I don't know. I was playing on the story difficulty because all I really cared about was the story, even if it isn't like super memorable. It does get slightly better as the game progresses in terms of like, you know, what's going on throughout the main story and the main people you have to interact with in order to get to the end. And when it comes to the end, it's fine. I didn't expect anything super major. I just wanted a little bit more. But hey, I can definitely say without a doubt that the combat is super satisfying. I did a lot of melee combat and I thought it was super fun. When it comes to modifying your weapons and getting those cool, creative weapons that you can use against enemies, especially when it comes to fire-based combat. Though at first it doesn't feel like the weapons are super powerful, but as you start leveling up more and you start getting more strength for your weapons, you can definitely notice the difference. There's, of course, a massive amount of weapons to get throughout the game. Probably not as much as something like Borderlands, but there is just enough, you know, for you to want to experiment about which weapon works best for you. There's also a heavy amount of crafting, and it doesn't feel too tedious. I mean, a lot of the times I didn't even realize I had a good amount of, you know, stuff in order to craft certain things. And while I don't really see myself doing it a whole lot, only just for like consumables and whatnot, I didn't even use the mods all that much. Maybe if I was playing on higher difficulty, I would see myself using the mods, but I just really came for the gameplay and the storyline and just wanted to get past that. Now, in terms of the technical problems and bugs, I didn't really run into any like crashes or anything like that. I did, however, run into a few bugs that, you know, caused me to lose a little bit of my progress. Like there's one time where I tried pausing the game, and that was just so I could record footage for this video. But there was a time where I tried unpausing, but it just like when I'm like in the menu, like in the inventory screen, and then I just go back to fighting, I just got stuck in the pause menu. And there were often times where I did get stuck not knowing where I was because the navigation thing, you know, that tells you where your direction, where your next direction to your quest is. A lot of the times, well, not a lot of the times, sometimes it's not shown. Especially one time where I had to like I had to reload a different save, like making me lose like 5 minutes of progress. They aren't like major bugs, like I didn't run into like any technical issues, definitely not as bad as something like when Fallout 76 launched, as it was a pretty stable game for the most part. You are going to have some technical problems, but not enough where it just completely broke. I do feel like when it comes to, you know, games like this, it is to be expected, but hey, what really worked the most about this game was the gameplay itself, the builds. It always managed to be fun when it comes to builds and the amount of like, and with the amount of experience you get, because you get a lot of experience throughout. Like, I managed to make it to like level 20 something by the time I managed to reach 18 hours. And yeah, that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but trust me, the storylines and side quests give you a lot of experience. So I highly recommend doing as much of the side missions as possible, especially if you want 100% everything, but of course that's going to take you a really long time. The main story takes around like 15 hours to beat. I did focus a lot on, you know, just the main story, but I also did some side missions in order for me to like stay on the character's good side in order to get the good-ish ending, or, Yeah, because there was a time where I accidentally screwed something up and I could not make progress in it whatsoever. So yeah, you just got to be careful. Sometimes there's a right answer, sometimes there's a wrong answer, but hey, that I feel like is what makes games like this interesting. Though not as heavy when it comes to like the overall choices you make. It's just you want to do something good, do something good. You want to do something bad, do something bad. I didn't always feel bad when I did something bad because I most of the time I just stayed good. But hey, the gameplay is truly what makes the game work. And hey, the storyline, while not super memorable, it's bearable enough. But in the end, guys, I really enjoyed Outer Worlds 2. If you were a fan of the first game, then I do recommend this one. I do still feel like it's a little bit too overpriced. I feel like when it goes on sale, like maybe at like $50, then yeah, I'd say definitely go for it. But that's the thing. With the amount of, with the massive prices that these games have been giving us, it's kind of hard to make people want to play Mario Kart World. But hey, that doesn't mean that the games themselves are bad. They're worth playing. It's just, it might do a dent to your wallet, Mario Kart World. So yeah, I highly recommend playing the game, but just waiting till, a price drop. But hey, once it does manage to go on sale, or if you do have Game Pass and or you're one of the few people that still has Game Pass, then yeah, I definitely recommend it. I had quite a bit of fun here and there. I did get frustrated on a few things, but nonetheless, I really enjoyed going back into these worlds. And another one off my list. So far, it's been a pretty decent year for games. I've already played like over, or at least in terms of the games I've reviewed like 15 so far. And trust me, this is definitely not going to be the last because there are a bunch of Nintendo Switch 2 games coming up by the end of the year. I definitely want to play Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I think that's what it's called. And I am super hyped for Metroid Prime 4. I hope the release date stays the same because we've waited long enough. But yeah, anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and maybe subscribe for more. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or maybe Blue Sky. Links are in the description. And I'll see you guys later. Word out.